Welcome to the screencast on model drawing for increasingly complex problems for 5th grade. If you are new to model drawing, I recommend you first view the model drawing videos for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. Those videos can be accessed on the same website where you found this video in their respective grade level folders. The website address is here. The first problem we will solve is what we call a before and after problem. It reads, Eric had 3 times as many cookies as Sean. After Eric ate 50 cookies, he had half as many cookies as Sean. How many cookies did Eric have left? We will start by writing our sentence statement. Eric had blank cookies left. Next, we will locate the important information. Eric had 3 times as many cookies as Sean. After Eric ate 50 cookies, he had half as many cookies as Sean. Let's start with unit bars, which show that Eric had 3 times as many cookies as Sean. Since the problem tells us that after Eric ate 50 cookies, he had half as many cookies as Sean, we need to adjust our model. In order to show that Eric now has half as many cookies, I drew lines dividing the unit bars so we can see what Eric's remaining portion is. It's this little piece right here with the question mark. The rest of this bar represents the 50 cookies which Eric ate. He has got to have a stomachache after eating that many cookies. Now our model perfectly illustrates the problem, and we are ready to use it to guide us through the math. Since we need to know how many cookies are in each of these smaller pieces, we'll use what we know, which is that 5 units is equal to 50 cookies. From there, we want to find out how much 1 unit equals, so we take 50 and divide it by 5 to find out that each piece represents 10 cookies. That tells us that Eric had 10 cookies left. Here's a similar problem. Brenda had 3 times as many dresses as Kathy. After Brenda gave away 75 dresses, she had half as many dresses as Kathy. How many dresses did Brenda have left? What should our sentence statement be? How about Brenda had blank dresses left? What is the important information? Brenda had 3 times as many dresses as Kathy. After Brenda gave away 75 dresses, she had half as many dresses as Kathy. I'll start with unit bars, which show that Brenda had 3 times as many dresses as Kathy. Now, since we know that Brenda gave away 75 dresses and then had half as many dresses as Kathy, I'll divide each of my units in half to show that Brenda has half as many dresses as Kathy after she gave 75 dresses away. I think Brenda has a little problem with shopping. Now, since our model tells us that 5 units is equal to 75 dresses, I can go one step further to find out that 1 unit equals 75 divided by 5, which is 15. Since each unit equals 15 dresses, we now know that Brenda has 15 dresses left. I think that's still too many dresses. Now let's work a couple fraction problems. In the 5th grade, 3/7 of the students are boys. If there are 36 girls in 5th grade, how many students are there altogether? Let's start with our sentence statement. There are blank students altogether. Now we need to identify the important information. 3/7 of the students are boys in 5th grade, and there are 36 girls in 5th grade. I'm going to start with one long unit bar to represent 5th grade. This unit bar is our whole. We want to find out how many students there are altogether, so we should put our question mark right here at the end of the unit bar. Next, I will divide the unit bar into 7 pieces and show that 3 out of 7 of those pieces represent boys. That means the remaining units represent girls. Also, since we know that there are 36 girls, that means that 4 units equals 36, which means that 1 unit equals 36 divided by 4, which is 9. Since each unit bar represents 9 students, and we want to find out how many students there are altogether, we simply multiply 7 times 9 to find out that there are 63 students altogether. Here's a similar problem. In the 6th grade, 5/8 of the students are girls. If there are 200 girls, how many students are there altogether? What should our sentence statement be? I wrote there are blank students altogether. What's the important information in the problem? 5/8 of the students in 6th grade are girls, and there are 200 girls. Again, we will start with one long unit bar to represent the 6th grade. This unit bar is our whole, and we want to find out how many students there are altogether, so we should put our question mark at the end of our unit bar. Since our problem tells us that 5/8 of the students are girls, we can divide our unit bar into 8 pieces to show that 5 of those 8 represent girls. That means the remaining pieces represent boys. The problem also tells us that there are 200 girls. If 5 units equals 200, that means that 1 unit equals 200 divided by 5, which is 40. So each of these pieces represents 40 students. Since we want to know how many students there are altogether, we will multiply 40 times 8 pieces to find that there are 320 students altogether. Now let's look at a couple fraction problems with decimals. After spending 1/4 of his money, Frankie had $13.50 left. How much money did he have at first? First, we need a sentence statement. Frankie had blank dollars at first. Let's identify the important information now. Frankie had $13.50 left after spending 1/4 of his money. Let's start with one long unit bar to represent the money Frankie started with, his whole. Since we want to find out how much money Frankie had at first, we should put our question mark at the end of the unit bar. Next, we will divide our whole into 4 pieces and cross off one of the pieces since Frankie spent 1/4 of his money. The problem tells us that Frankie had $13.50 left. Since 3 units equals $13.50, then 1 unit equals $13.50 divided by 3, which is $4.50. If each of these pieces represents $4.50 and we have 4 units total, then 4 times $4.50 is $18. Frankie had $18 at first. This is the last problem. Elizabeth spent 1/3 of her money on a purse. This left her with $120. How much money did Elizabeth have to begin with? Of course, we'll start with our sentence statement. It's easy to forget. Elizabeth had blank dollars to begin with. Next, we'll identify the important information. Elizabeth spent 1/3 of her money and she had $120 left. How do you think we should start our bar model? With a whole, of course. This bar represents the money Elizabeth started with. Since we want to find out how much money she had to begin with, we should put our question mark at the end of the bar. The problem tells us that Elizabeth spent 1/3 of her money, so we can divide the bar into 3 pieces and cross off one piece to represent the portion she spent. We know she had $120 left, so I'll write that down too. Since our bar model shows us that 2 units equals $120, then 1 unit equals $120 divided by 2, which is $60. If each of these pieces represents $60 and there are 3 of them, then 3 times $60 is $180. Elizabeth had $180 to begin with. This concludes the screencast on model drawing for 5th grade. I hope you will take the time to explore other Singapore math videos. Singapore math is just plain good math.